Sky Cable live throughout the Waterbury area. Welcome back to another episode of It's Your Call. Today is April 16th, the year is 2009. Today on the show, we're going to kind of sprinkle in a little everything, a little baseball, do a little hockey preview maybe, talk about Hasheem Thabeet declaring for the NBA. Should be very interesting. Thank you for closing the door. What happened to my crew tonight? They're late. What's going on with that? That's got to get fixed. That problem's going to have to get fixed. But I'll start with the New York Yankees today. Their home opener against the Cleveland Indians. Kind of funny that CC Sabathia faced his former team, and this game was very well pitched for the most part until the 7th inning, when the Cleveland Indians scored 9 runs off the Yankee bullpen. Jose Veras and Damaso Marte were the victims of that 9-run onslaught by Cleveland. Sabathia pitched 5 2/3 innings, only gave 1 run. Pitched very well, but he was outdueled by Cy Young Award winner from last year, Cliff Lee, who threw 6 innings, gave only 1 run. So, one game, no big deal. Obviously, if you're a Yankee fan, you'd like to see them win in that spot. But, 100 and something more games ago, you can't really get too worried about that at this point, this juncture in the season. Up there, It's Your Call. I messed that up really bad. It'sYourCall.podbean.com. That's the website. You get a podcast show, you get a video of the show, and it's very, very successful so far with that website. And what is going on up in here? I don't know. It's all good. It's cool. So the Yankees go down to the Indians today by a final score of 10-2. So not the best home opener for the Yankees. And I say the same thing with the New York Mets, who lost their home opener in a very terrible fashion on a balk by pitcher Pedro Feliciano in the 6th inning, which they make me very happy as a New York Met fan. But you take the good with the bad. The Mets won 7-2 last night. They're up 3-0 tonight on Carlos Delgado home run. So, way too early, folks, to start sweating about your teams here. Yeah, Griffey. Yeah, I'll give you Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, Seattle, I got to give them the credit. So far, they are playing well. They are in first place. Only it's like 10 games into the season, though, buddy. So cool your Jets back there. So let's be all with that. Red Sox off to a slow start. All the local teams haven't played really well so far, so I can't get too crazy about that yet. And Hasheem Thabeet declared he's going to go to the NBA. Should be interesting to see what happens with him. He'll probably be a top 5 pick in the draft, without a doubt. His only problem is going to be from the offensive side of things here. He's not very good offensively. He doesn't have a lot of, post moves. A lot of his points are going to be on putbacks and dunks and stuff like that. But obviously, the greatest shot blocker in the history of the University of Connecticut, even better than Okafor, I got to say. So from a defensive standpoint, he'll block a lot of shots. Probably going to have to put on a little weight, once he gets in the NBA, because you're going up against guys like Dwight Howard, Yao Ming, who are much bigger and more rugged, and be able to move, knock him around pretty easily. So, Thabeet will probably see the bench for a couple years, and then, once he develops a little more offensively, I think he can be a factor in the NBA. Blake Griffin, also from Oklahoma, decided to go pro. Probably going to be picked first pick overall NBA draft. Going to be an exceptional player in the NBA, without question. Expect him to step up right away for every team he goes to. I don't know who the first team in the draft is going to be yet. Maybe Oklahoma City. I'm not sure. I don't really care. It's not that big a deal, but he will be the first pick overall in the draft. So that's your Hasheem Thabeet front and what's going on with him. Obviously UConn next year will be down a little bit without Price, without Thabeet, without Adrian. There's a lot of key losses for that team. So Jerome Dyson and Stanley Robinson are really going to have to step things up for UConn if they want to be successful and try to get back to the Final Four. That's UConn. And, I'm going to talk about the NHL playoffs here. We have a couple of games currently going on right now. We have the Boston Bruins with a 2-1 lead on the Canadiens in the first period. Those series with those two teams, anytime those two teams play, you're going to get a war. You're going to get a very physical game, a lot of fights. I believe the last game that they played, there was about 35-40 minutes of penalty time. A lot of fighting between those two teams. If you're a hockey fan, I love hockey. You gotta love the fighting. I mean, that makes the game, what it is. So Bruins currently with a 2-1 lead here, early in the second period. And then the Rangers got a big win last night against the Capitals, 4-3. I was kind of hoping we didn't have to play the Rangers, in the first round. If you're a Bruin fan, the Rangers are playing pretty well with their new coach in there. They're a dangerous team. They have a very good goaltender. Lundqvist is very solid. So I expect the Rangers to give the Capitals a tough battle, but I think Washington will find a way to prevail and win that series, setting up what I believe will be a Bruin-Capital Eastern Conference final. And in the West Coast today, obviously, you're going to have the San Jose Sharks, who are obviously the overwhelming favorite to win the Stanley Cup this year. They're going to be playing the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I don't know if they even call the Mighty Ducks anymore back there. Earth to the people back there. They're the Ducks or they're the Mighty Ducks? Yeah, okay. The other game, we got Detroit and Columbus going on right now. There's no score here, end of one period. Red Wings always a solid playoff team, so just watch out for them. They can make some noise. Blackhawks have had a nice season. They haven't been in the playoffs too often lately, so it's nice to see them back into the mix. And congratulations to the Chicago Bulls making the playoffs. I believe they're going to be playing the Celtics in the first round. They're the 7th seed, but that might bode well for the Chicago Bulls because Kevin Garnett, there's a good chance he's going to miss the whole playoffs. He's got his knee is bothering him really bad, so I think they're going to sit him for the playoffs, unfortunately. So if the Celtic fans out there had any hopes of getting back to the NBA Finals, I believe your hopes have been shattered because without Kevin Garnett in that lineup, there is no chance they're getting back to the NBA Finals. I mean, this is LeBron James' year, folks. LeBron James' big chance to win an NBA title for the first time. Especially with that 40-1 home record. They have home court throughout the playoffs. It's going to be very hard to beat them. Especially in a 7-game series, you're going to have to beat them a couple times to even have a chance to advance past them. So, the clear-cut favorites, Cleveland Cavaliers in the East, and in the West, it's the LA Lakers. Spurs lost Manu Ginobili there. That hurt their hopes. New Orleans has been beat up all year. Denver, yeah, they can score points, but they don't play defense. Utah can't win on the road. Portland impressed me last night against Denver, beat them by 30. They were not missing their shots last night. Very impressive win for the Trailblazers. I think they can make a little noise in the playoffs, but I just don't think they got enough to get past the Lakers. So I think you're going to be looking at a Laker-Cavalier final. And hopefully in a couple weeks, I'll have my NBA analyst on again with me, Johnny, who did an excellent job with us a few weeks back here, get his predictions on what's going to happen here in the NBA playoffs, which is very closely approaching. And, that's where you're at this week. You callers at 753-7593, whatever you want to talk about. I'm open ears for anything. You want to talk a little baseball, a little hockey, a little NFL football, which I'm going to touch on that now because they did release the NFL schedule for this year. And Miami Dolphins fans, you have a tough road this year. According to ESPN, you have the hardest schedule in the NFL, which means that they're basing it on last year's performance of the teams that have, their records last year. That's how they come up with, they determine the toughest schedule. Again, all could change by the end of the year. But, if you're a New York Giants fan, you got a tough road this year. You got the divisional games, which are always brutal. You got to play the Redskins twice, Dallas twice, the Eagles twice. Especially late in the season, I believe the Giants have 3 of those games. 3 out of the last 4 games are against divisional teams. So that you got to finish strong. And the Giants didn't finish strong last year. They got by Carolina there late in the season, but other than that, they lost all their games. So the Giants this year, folks, you're playing the AFC West. You'll be playing the Oakland Raiders at home. That's an easy win right there, no problem. Beat them by 35, 40 points, no sweat. San Diego at home. That's going to be a very tough game. You know how talented that team is. They always make the playoffs. And sooner or later, I believe they're going to get a Super Bowl in San Diego. They've come close so many times, to get in there, but just, they fall short. They find a way to fall short every year. But they're very talented. They'll have Merriman back playing defense. They'll be fine. They'll be a very tough team this year. Giants will head to Denver on Thanksgiving night, which is an NFL Network game. They're getting rid of NFL Network on a Waterbury area. I don't know why. I'm not happy about it at all. NFL Network is one of the only channels I actually watch, so if people have any questions about that, feel free to call us. That game is an NFL Network game Thanksgiving night. They also go to Kansas City. You know, that's a winnable game. They also play the NFC South. Home games with Atlanta and Carolina, and they go on the road to play the Saints, who can put up 50 points on you in a heartbeat. And they go to Tampa Bay, who, you know, they're always pretty solid. Last year they had that big collapse, lost the last 3 games, forced them to miss the playoffs. But tough year for the New York Football Giants this year. And I'll go over some of these Sunday night games with you. A lot of good matchups this year on Sunday night. Week 1, you have Chicago going to Lambeau, play the Packers. Week 2, New York Giants go to Dallas, which will be Dallas's home opener in a new stadium. So that is a must-watch if you're a Giant fan or a Cowboy fan or just an NFL fan in general, because that should be a flat-out war. Week 3, you got Indianapolis at Arizona. Now, last year, a couple years ago, they would never put a game like this on the national spot. You know, Arizona's big, a huge successful season last year, almost won the Super Bowl. So, you know, they could get a little more exposure now in a small market, get some time, you know, on late night games. Chicago at Atlanta, that's a decent game. They could do a little better there. Arizona Giants, good matchup there. Okay, there's no game that night. I think it starts to go into the flex after that. So, Dallas Philly is a good matchup on Sunday night. New England Indianapolis is a good matchup. Philly Chicago, it's okay, it's pretty good. Pittsburgh Baltimore, that should be a good AFC North battle. New England Miami, and Miami, you got a tough schedule. I'm looking at some of your games here. New England, obviously you play them twice. At Atlanta, at Tennessee. Good luck, Dolphins. That's what happens, you know. If you win a division or make the playoffs, the schedule difficulty is going to get much harder, you know, in the following years. You know, like they expect you to produce more. I wonder what game. They've been doing games at Wembley Stadium in London. I wonder what the game is this year. I'm having trouble finding that. So if any of the callers give me a call and let me know on that, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, the NFL season looks to be a good one, and that season officially begins here. Bear with me 1 second here. On September 10th, with Tennessee at Pittsburgh, you know, rematch of a good game they had last year. So that's your NFL, basically your NFL preview, and we'll get into some of these. You know, we'll get into some of these teams and what they've done in the offseason, their team breakdown, and how they're going to perform in a big spot. But I'm gonna save that for future shows because we have a lot of time to talk about the NFL. So. You know, I'll give you the quick baseball rundown right now for scores, games in progress. Like we said here, the Yankees were decimated by the Indians today in their home opener, 10-2. And the New York Mets just had a 3-0 lead. Now we're down 5-3 here. John Maine, not a very good job in that 3rd inning, giving up 5 runs. I mean, as a Mets fan, it's very frustrating. Very frustrating to watch them. Especially the last 2 seasons when you piss away a 7-game lead with 17 games left, then a 3.5-game lead with 17 games left, and you choke. And the Marlins of all teams, the freaking Marlins, 2 years in a row, in your home stadium, knock you out of the playoffs. That's unacceptable. You know, I can't tolerate much more of it. Yeah, Philly, Washington, 3-2 Washington there in that game. Let's see here. I just want to, you know, your boys are playing tonight here. Seattle in action against the Angels. I believe they're going for a sweep in that series, if I'm correct. And they will send to the mound tonight Jalbaskus, the guy I never heard of. He's 1-0 anyway, against L.A. Saunders, who's been pretty solid so far. He's only a 2.6 ERA, so that's that. So, any of you callers want to give me a call, 203-753-7593. Any questions or comments in the world of sports, I'd appreciate it. You call on line 1, it looks like. You check that out for me real quick. God, how did the Yankees lose 10-2 on their home opener? That's the one thing, is that Yankee bullpen, with the exception of Mariano Rivera. They're very strong. You know, you got the starters there, Sabathia, Burnett. Wong, who has had really 2 bad starts so far. Can't really worry about it yet. They think they're going to fix things. And we have a call on line 1. You're on the air. Hello? You're on the air. Hello? I'm still botching the phones up here. We have a new phone, so it's like, what am I doing here? White Sox 2-0 lead there on Tampa Bay. That's early on in the fourth inning. What else do we got here for games here? Toronto 1-0 over Minnesota. Florida has been on a roll, beat Atlanta again 6-2. Houston, Pittsburgh, Houston and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's actually off to a pretty decent start. And St. Louis, Chicago 7-4 there, the final in that game, an early afternoon game. I think we had calls on 1 and 2. No? They hung up? You're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing? My phone keeps losing service.
I thought it was me. I mean, I screw these phones up every week, so I apologize if I hung up on you.
I don't think it's your fault, man. I think every show on this channel has problems with the phones.
Yeah, what's going on? You got any questions about anything in world sports?
No, mine's regarding text messages. And I just want to know why the members of the female community feel it is necessary to send so many text messages when their lovers, i.e., are, out shopping, doing miscellaneous dump runs, stuff like that, and all these text messages. I mean, it's just gone.
So you're not a fan of text messaging, is what you're saying?
Dude, I think it's changing. I think it's taking away one of our... See what I'm doing right now? I'm talking, you're understanding me. This whole text message thing, it's like, we wouldn't even be talking, dude. I'd be like, you're going to have a show where like, oh, well, text your comment.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but you know what? That's just the way technology is now, man. That's what people text.
Ever since 9/11, dude. Ever since 9/11, when they put out the ticker, we've had tickers. Now we got Twitters.
Yep.
We got texters. We got mad texters. We got insecure texters. We even got dirty texters, and we even got texters.
So you're just saying we have too much texting, and you rather just communicate via the phone without texting, right?
And before you check yourself, because if you get involved with one of these damsels in distress around here, and you don't have the right text plan.
Yeah, well, that's a different show and a different topic, but I kind of agree with you, buddy. Thank you for your call, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, someone not a big fan of text messaging, which, that's perfectly fine. I'm used to it by now. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but whatever. That's just the way of the times. It's the way it goes. Nothing can be done about it. But back to some of these games we have going on right now. I just can't believe. I'm sorry, folks. I cannot believe the New York Mets. 3-0 lead, and right in the first inning, too, Delgado hits a bomb, and then 5 runs. And the problem with the New York Met pitchers is, it's not so much to give up many hits, it's the fact that they walk the ballpark. Now, I'm going to tell you right now how many walks John Maine has, because I have just a gut feeling that he's walked about 6 people already, which is his biggest problem. Then he'll go ahead and give up the big hit in the big spot. 4 walks, yeah. That's not going to get it done. Not going to get it done. And then you give up the big hit. So, I guess I am overreacting here a little bit here. It's a little early on in the season, but as a Met fan, I'm not like what I'm seeing so far. When you're the only guy you're going to get a great effort out of, Johan Santana, goes out there against Florida, gives you 7 innings, no earned runs. Only runs he gave up were on a drop fly ball by Daniel Murphy, so it's not even his fault. Strikes out 13 guys, and they can't win. They can't win the game. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. How you can't give a guy any run support. And this happened to him last year too. The whole season is either not scoring runs for him, he's leaving the game with a 2-3 run lead, and the Mets bullpen would come in and totally blow it. Give the lead back. And it sucks. If you're Santana, it's like you go out there and you give it your all, and your team can't come up with a couple runs for you. It's ridiculous. Guy's the best pitcher in baseball. I don't even think that's a debatable argument. You have a call on line 1? You're on the air.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Excellent show. Excellent show.
Thanks, man. I try,
How do you feel about John Madden?
John Madden, he already retired today. I read about that.
Who's going to do the 10-legged turkey?
I don't know. I wonder who's going to replace him, man. Who do you think would be a good replacement for John Madden?
Dick Trickle.
I don't know. I don't think so, pal. John Madden will go down as one of the all-time great announcers in football. He was on that Monday Night Crew for, I can't even tell you how many years, 30 years maybe. Obviously, he was a very successful coach with the Raiders. And he went on to, do the color for all the Monday night games. I believe he did CBS for many years as well. So yeah, I should have brought that up earlier. I'm not on the ball here tonight. I apologize. But John Madden, yeah, decided to retire after 30 years in a broadcast booth. So, and Kyle, okay, I'm reading this now. Chris Collinsworth is going to be the guy to go with Al Michaels on these the Sunday night games now. I don't know how I feel about that. I think Collinsworth's okay. Could they come up with somebody better? I'm not sure. Yeah, that's too bad. When you think Monday Night Football, you're thinking John Madden. It's too bad that he left. So, 30 years, decides to hang it up. Should be interesting. So let's check. What about this hockey? What's going on? What's this hockey scores here? What's going on with the hockey here? Let's see if the Bruins here can hold off the Canadians. Because, we beat them 5 out of 6 times in the regular season, but, the playoffs, they usually get the best of us, so I like to see us. Okay, still 2-1 Boston midway through the second period, so keep an eye on that game. And Detroit now has scored a goal against Columbus to take a 1-0 lead there in that game. And then your 2 late games are Calgary, Chicago, which you'll be dropping the puck in about 7 minutes. And then Anaheim, San Jose, 10:30. Well, you West Coast hockey fans, that actually I think will be a pretty good series. I think Anaheim will give San Jose a good run for their money. And what I love about these hockey games is, I got to be honest with you, watching the Stanley Cup last year, I think it was either Game 5 or Game 4 of the Pittsburgh-Detroit series, went like 3 overtimes, went to like 2:30 in the morning. That was just such an entertaining hockey game, and that's what I love about playoff hockey. The late games, the triple overtime games, staying up till 2, 3 o'clock. It's very, very enjoyable. I have to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of hockey during the regular season, but once the playoffs kick in, I'm pretty hooked on it. Same thing with the NBA. I don't watch a whole lot of NBA in the regular season, but I'll watch the playoffs. NBA is kind of down, I think, for me anyway. Since Michael Jordan retired, it just hasn't been the same for me. I understand they have LeBron, they have Kobe Bryant. But, be like Mike, there's just no one even close there in terms of ability. I even watched a little golf over the weekend. The Masters, actually listed that in my website as one of my top 5 favorite sporting events to watch. And believe me, I'm not a big golf fan, but the Masters there's usually some drama in the Masters. And this year, Kenny Perry had a 2-shot lead there, ended up losing it to Cabrera there. Very, very surprised to see that, but that's what happens, man. Masters, usually something good always happens. And then you had Tiger and Phil playing with each other there. Phil Mickelson had a really, really good round, but just fell a little short there winning. You got a call on line 1? You're on the air.
All right, I'm wondering how you feel about the Rangers and what the chances are.
The New York Rangers?
Yes.
You know what? When they made that coaching change, I think that was a very smart move on their part, and I think they've responded to that. I think they're
that and Sean Avery.
Sean Avery, you say what you want about the guy, he don't take crap from nobody.
No, he got them all fired up.
Yeah, and they had a big win last night against a very, very good Washington team.
That's why I'm asking. They have Ovechkin. What do you think?
I think they have a chance. I wouldn't count on them to win that series, but it certainly wouldn't shock me if they were to find a way to beat the Capitals. But Capitals are very good. I'm a Bruins fan, and I'm kind of glad I'm not seeing them in the first round, to be honest with you, because they are playing very well.
So am I.
All
right, well, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, New York Rangers, I think, like I just said, once they made that coaching change, that they gave them a little momentum. I think they're playing much harder now. I think Lundqvist is one of the best goalies in the NHL. I think he could be a huge factor in the playoffs if they move on and get through a couple series here in a big spot. You know, like I said, I'm glad the Bruins did not play them in the first round. I'd be pretty concerned about that, actually. Okay, back to the MLB here. Just want to keep a quick glance here. What's going on here? See what the Mets are doing here. Besides driving me crazy, yeah. Mets, you know, line one. It's your call. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
How you doing, man?
Hey, are you into NASCAR at all?
You know, I don't watch a lot of NASCAR, I'll be honest with you. I usually watch the Daytona. Are you a huge fan of NASCAR?
Oh, it's my life, man.
Who's your favorite driver?
Smoke.
What's that?
Smoke.
Okay.
Tony Stewart.
Yeah, my buddy back there is not a big Tony Stewart fan, but you know he is one of
You
the...
gotta refer to it's Smoke.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that.
Smoke.
What about
Old Spice, 14.
That's right. What do you think about Gordon?
Gordon?
You not a big Gordon fan?
He's a pillow biter.
Yeah. That's gonna upset a few people back there, but hey, you're entitled to your opinion.
Hey, dude, you know, I'm from down south, you know, and down there, he's pillow biter.
Yeah, I mean down south, NASCAR is really huge. I hate to cut you off, but
They got the Hall of Fame. They got Richard Petty.
Yep.
Al Yarborough.
We're running short on time, pal. I wish I could talk to you longer, but give us a call next week, and I'll try to brush up on my NASCAR so I can actually have a conversation with you. All right, buddy? Good night, guys. Take care. It's yourcall.podbean.com. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week, guys.